Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and thanks for tuning in. Let's learn, build, and shape a better cloud for the future. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Perfect. Let's dive in. All right, so let's look at AWS NACLs and security groups. So NACLs stand for Network Access Control Lists, and the two NACLs and security groups are both security features that we apply to our AWS resources to protect them. Okay, all right. So basically, for us to configure the two, we need to first understand the differences between the two and where we can indeed configure each security feature. Okay, all right. So I've already prepared a table here that I'll open and inform you about the key differences. So basically, security groups are applied at instance level or the ENI, network elastic network interface. But for NACLs, they're applied at subnet level. So let me explain that with this diagram. So if you see this diagram, we have a BPC here, then we have subnet, and inside the subnet, we have at least two instances, okay? So the NACLs will be applied at the subnet level, but security group will be applied per instance, okay? Or ENI level, at the instance level or the elastic network interface level, okay? All right. So the NACLs here will be used by all the resources under that subnet. But security group can be used by one or multiple instances. Okay? All right. So all the instances under this subnet, even if there are 2,000 instances, they will still use this NACL. Okay? But each instance can have its own security group. Perfect. So if I go back to our table here, now let's go to statefulness. Security group is stateful, but NACLs are stateless. What do you mean by the two? Stateful basically implies when if you allow inbound traffic, the outbound response is automatically allowed. Okay? But for NACLs, you need to set both inbound and outbound traffic because it's stateless. Rule processing. Well, in security groups, all rules are evaluated and the most permissive rules applied. But for NACLs, rules are evaluated in order. Lowest number rule first. Okay? All right, so let me explain that. In security group, let's assume an instance is having two security groups. One is denying everything, another one is allowing everything. So based on rule processing, the security group will evaluate all the rules, but the most permissive one will be applied, meaning the one that allows everything will be applied, okay? But in NACLs, rules are evaluated in order. Rule number 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10. So when NACLs start processing the rules, the first one, the one with the lowest number, applies the first one in order, all right? Perfect. Then the default behavior. All inbound and outbound traffic is denied by default in security group. Okay? Unless you add a rule to allow. But in NACLs, all traffics are allowed by default unless you modify. Okay? So the third last one, only rules applies. Only allow rules applies. There's no deny rules in security groups. But for NACLs, they are both allow or deny rules. In security groups, you can only allow rules. So the one that you allow is the one that will be allowed. The one that you don't allow will be denied. Okay? But there's nowhere we can set the denied rule on security groups. But for NACLs, we can do it. Second last one, we can define rules based on protocol, port range, or source IP. Similar in NACLs, similar definition but applied at subnet level, right? Perfect. And lastly, security groups basically are used to control access to specific instances. But for NACLs, used to control the entire subnets. Let me explain that. Like I mentioned, this NACLs here will be applied to all the instances under this subnet, even if it's thousands of instances. But this security group will only be applied to this instance. Okay, perfect. So let's get into practice. So I'll go to our AWS management console. Then I'll check my region and see it's okay. Okay. Then what I'll do, I'll go to VPC, or you can just search it here. Search VPC. Okay. Then you click there. And then first of all, I would like to let you know that whenever you create a VPC, okay, like the way we created a VPC. Whenever you create a VPC, a default security group and a default NACLs are created alongside the VPC. Okay. All right. So if if I can just check, I go to where is it? Under security, you see NACLs and security group. So I go to NACLs and I search with the ID of the security group. I mean the VPC. You can see this default NACLs was already created. Okay, and attached to our VPC. And if I go to security group and I do that, perfect. You see this default one. Okay. All right. So when you create a VPC, a default NACLs and security group are created. Okay. All right. So let's start with the NACLs. The NACLs, the one that's applicable at the subnet level, right? So here I'm just going to create a NACL. Click create, then give it a name. GTH NACLs. Okay. Then you need to select your VPC. Perfect. Then you just create the NACLs. As simple as that. Then it's very, very important to define roles. Remember, this is a custom NACL, the one that you've created. It's a not a default, all the AWS provided NACLs. Okay, this is the one that you created. So we need to define roles. Okay, so if I go here, you can see as per now, all rules are denied. Okay, outbound are denied. Okay, all right. So what do? Just go and click edit inbound rule and add a new rule. Okay, and make it number 1 so that it processes fast. Okay, then what do you want to allow? Let's just assume we want to allow all traffic. Okay, just all traffic, all protocol, all port range from anywhere. Then allow. Okay, and save. Right, go to outbound as well and add new rule, make it number 1. Right? Then let's just allow all traffic for this demo from anywhere. Okay, to anywhere, I mean. Okay, then save changes. Okay, so basically when the rules are being processed, the first one takes precedence. Okay, so let's assume let me just assume add a new rule, make it number 2, and HTTP or SSH, that's okay, and yeah, from anywhere, and save. Let me just explain that one. Like I said, NACLs are evaluated in order. Okay, so you see the first rule allows everything for everyone. Okay, the second rule deny. Oh, let me just do this. Sorry, let me edit it. Deny. Okay, so the second rule denies SSH for everyone. So which one will be applied? The first one, because they are evaluated in order. Because you can see the first rule allows everything. Second rule denies SSH. So this one will not be considered. Okay, because this first one has already allowed everyone for everything. Okay, so even if you deny it for the second rule, it will not be applied. So how do you resolve that one? If you want to deny SSH for everyone, we just change the order. Okay, you make this one 2 and you make this one 1 and you save. Okay, so maybe just try to save. Yep. Yeah, so you see, I make this one rule number 1, this one rule number 3. So before any traffic gets into this subnet, it will check and see SSH is denied for everyone. Now let's proceed here. So SSH will be dropped here, then it will proceed here. Okay, perfect. All right, so I believe you've learned how to configure NACLs. So let's go and learn how to configure security group. So when I go under security group as well, I've already created a lot of security groups, but now I'll add one for the demo purpose. Just click add security group and give it a name. Okay. And then a description is very important. Okay. Then ensure you choose the correct VPC. Okay. Perfect. And then inbound rule. I want to intentionally create 2 inbound rules. So that one from anywhere IPv4. Okay. I just want to allow all traffic from anywhere. Okay. All right. Another one, I want to allow SSH for only a particular IP. Let's just say my IP. When I click on my IP, it will take my public IP address. Okay. If I just go here and say my IP, my IP address, it will take my public IP address. So you can see my public IP address is this one. It's still loading. I don't know why it's taking long. Yeah, this one, 4190 something. All right. So you see it has taken that one, right? Okay. Then outbound rules are being created by default to allow everything. Okay. So I'll just leave it by default. Then just give it a tag name and save. So I want to explain something about the security group that I've just created. So if you check the security group, the inbound rules I've allowed SSH for only this IP. And as well, I've allowed all traffic for everyone. Okay? Inbound traffic, all for everyone. Okay? So let's go back into inbound traffic. So let's say someone who is not this IP tries to subnet to set SSH into an instance attached to this security group. What do you think will happen? Like we said, security groups are processed in this way. The most permissive rule applied. Okay, so how will it be processed? Let's say someone from a different IP tries to connect. First of all, security group will check this rule and say, oh, it's only this guy allowed to connect here. Then it will come here and check this rule and say, all traffic for everyone. Then it will grant you access, the most permissive rule. Okay? So let's attach each security feature to the respective destination. So for NACLs, we'll attach it to any subnet in that particular VPC. But for security group, we'll attach it to an instance in that VPC. Okay. So I'm just going to subnets. Then let's just assume, let me just choose this subnet, which is on the same VPC. Okay. Then I go there. Then network ACL and edit network ACL and choose the one that we just created. Okay. And save. Okay. That's how to edit it. Okay. Perfect. So if you go here, you will see them here. Okay. So to attach a security group, you need to go to EC2 tab. Okay. You go to EC2 tab, then you go to an instance or maybe any other resource that you have. Okay. So I believe I have some instances here, but in stop state. So I just click on this one, maybe. Just click on action, go to security and change security group. Right. And then I had the one that I created, which is a GTEC test. Okay. Then I add it and I save. Perfect. I believe this video is really helping out to understand the key differences and how to configure both NACLs and security groups. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and drop a comment below. Thank you, and see you again in the next video. Bye.